y'all, it's Laura, and I have a mixed media layout for you today. This is a little bit different than I normally do, but I'm going to be using this Heidi Swapp texture paste as well as some distress oxides. This one's picked raspberry, and I will be bringing in, I believe it's called wild honey, which is kind of an orangish one later. So what I'm going to do here is mix together the white texture paste with this distress oxide, and the reason I did this instead of regular modeling paste is because the Heidi Swapp texture paste has shimmer in it, and I didn't do anything to this cardstock. It's just basil marshmallow cardstock, which can handle a little bit of mixed media work but not too much water. So I have this giant 12 by 12 hexagon stencil that I got from Tuesday Morning a while back, and I'm not sure on the brand, but it is 12 by 12. It's pretty huge, and it's the perfect size hexagons. And I'm going to use it later in a different way, so you'll see that in a minute. So this is the teal colored Heidi Swapp texture paste. I'm going to come in with that, and I definitely wanted all of them to have just a little bit of shimmer so that when I punch out some hexagons later, that there is some difference between the paper and the mixed media hexagons. So I'm not perfectly smudging these into the shapes. I'm trying, but you know that's not the way stencils and texture paste work. And I did use washi tape to hold the stencil down to attempt to keep it straight and in position as much as possible. But it will get smudged. It's going to make a mess. That's sort of the nature of mixed media, actually, is making a mess. But don't worry, we're going to cover some of those mistakes up. You're not even going to see them, so it's completely fine. I'll also end up making a big mess anyway and splattering everywhere. So it's not going to show terribly much. Now bringing in more of that white because again I wanted to use this gorgeous wild honey, which looks very orange, but when you mix it with the white it turns into this really nice yellow, and I really wanted a nice yellow because the papers I'm going to be using are from probably some of the oldest 6x6 paper pads that I have in my stash. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a layout with these. So peeling this back, I discover, oops, we made some little boo-boos, but look how shimmery it is. So here are those paper pads. Two of them are the same. I just happen to have both of them. And as you can see, variety of colors in there. And I'm mostly looking for the same colors that I used in the mixed media. I'm looking for pink, I'm looking for blue, I'm looking for yellow. And the reason I'm looking for those colors is because I'm scrapping a baby photo of my sweet niece. Now you can't see her face because my brother has requested that I not put her photos out there, which is totally fine. But in this one, my husband happens to be holding her, and she's there. That's just need to know she's there. So this is my Tiny Fiskars hexagon punch, and I thought that it would be fun to do large and small hexagons. So here I'm using my stencil as a stencil to draw hexagons onto some of the larger patterns, and then I will cut those out and use them in conjunction with the mixed media ones. And I was very careful to keep the stencil in the same place when I made my mixed media texture paste hexagons so that there would be plenty of room and the spacing would be correct for these paper hexagons to meld in with the texture paste ones. So I'm not going to make you watch me cut out all of these tiny hexagons, lucky for you, and I'm just showing you kind of the idea I have about mixing the sizes of hexagons, and then in a minute you'll see how I try to mix those in with the texture paste ones. So here are the texture paste ones. I'm grabbing 3 shades of Heidi Swapp Color Shine, gold, teal, and hot pink, and I'm just going to splatter all of those shiny colors all over the page. And this is, again, reflecting some of those same colors I used in the texture paste, really keeping the color scheme minimal. I find that it's much easier to make your layout consistent and cohesive if you keep your colors minimized to, say, 2 or 3 colors and don't go too crazy with it as far as mixed media is concerned. Okay, so now that that's dried, I'm going to go ahead and start bringing in my hexagons. I have sped this up quite a lot because it would be rather tedious to watch this even in 3 times speed. So this is 8 times speed. I wanted you to see how I'm building the rows and I'm building the sections without having to watch me tape and tape and tape so slowly that it's just way too long of a video. So I'm just essentially building clustered areas. That's the idea, but I'm also keeping in mind that some of this is going to get covered up by my photo. And so I'm trying hard not to put too much in the center because that is going to get covered up. Some of the smaller pieces are going to be popped up onto adhesive foam to give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of interest. And the larger pieces I'm just going to squeeze in. I am trying not to put 2 of the same color next to each other. I don't mind if they're close, but I don't want them right next to each other. So that is part of the challenge in only using 3 colors, is that I'm trying to put not 2 of the same right next to each other. As you can see, I'm fighting with that little teal one because guess what? There's teal ones everywhere. There's a lot of teal on this layout. But it does match my photo, so it'll work out in the end. And that's pretty much the design we're going to go with. Here is the photo. As you can see, that teal in my husband's shirt. And we have some pink and a little bit of yellow in the baby blanket. And I definitely wanted to incorporate a lot of those colors. I'm going to use some of those same papers from the paper packs to mat my photo a couple of times. And just kind of keep this very simple layout. I really want my photo to shine and I want it to play with some new products. So that's absolutely what I did. I'm going to pop this up onto adhesive foam and upon looking at it a little closer realized I was covering up some of my favorite pieces of hexagons. So I moved a couple of those out of the way and we'll trim off the excess on one side. Now once I had my photo in place, I was kind of looking at the general cluster shapes and realized that I didn't love the fact that it was a straight line at the bottom of the layout. So I will end up adding a piece or 2 down there just to kind of create more of a staggered look. These alphas, or I guess they're words, not alphas, are from Freckled Fawn. And I thought doing a little tone-on-tone title wouldn't draw too much attention away from the photo and from the design of the layout, but would give it just a little something so that it speaks to the photo. So this amazing smile is referring to my husband, who doesn't smile for photos very often. And when he gets a little baby in his arms, that makes him smile. And I love it. I absolutely love it. This is his natural smile. His photo smile is very interesting. So you saw my journaling genie come on out and make an appearance. And I love that thing because you can make straight lines and differ the edges as you need to. I just squeezed it in between the hexagons. Going to use some of those foam hearts from that Freckled Fawn alphabet, and then from this Amy Tangerine word thickers. They were just sitting there on my desk and I was like, oh, white hearts, let's get some more of those. And then some enamel dots to sprinkle around the page. So we've already done some splattering and now we've done some scattering, but that's not all, folks. I'm going to be scattering and splattering again. But first, we're going to add some Pretty Little Studios words around the page just to embellish a little bit. I didn't want to add a ton of embellishment to this page because it's already got a lot of activity happening on this background. So, of course, we need more hearts, we need more enamel dots, we need all the things on the layout because those tiny details make a difference. I also wanted to accent some of the texture paste areas with enamel dots so that your eye is kind of drawn to them because I was really excited about how they came out. And so I did add some enamel dots specifically to those hexagons. And then I've got little tiny puffy hearts and little tiny circles, and I'm going to add those just kind of everywhere because that's how detail embellishing works, right? You just put it everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's everywhere. Yeah. So more splattering with the Heidi Swapp Color Shine in all the colors, I think. At least, I know at least I did the pink and blue. I'm not sure if I did the gold again as well. And then here's where I decided I really needed to break up this line at the bottom and just add one more hexagon to break up that line. So here it is done. I love how it came out. Super quick, super easy. Try this layout out for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Until next time, bye.